Well, hello, everyone, and welcome back to Aging and Spirituality, where we talk about how to have a more fulfilled life after 60. I'm your host, Chris Jensen, and
Kathy Lee Taylor. Hello, everyone.
we are so happy you're here. So, what is it that you've been yearning to do in your life, but maybe not done? Or maybe you're not even sure what your deepest yearning really is. Maybe it's learning something new, a new language, a new technology, engaging in hobbies, volunteering, traveling, making time for loved ones or self-care, or maybe there's a deeper calling that you haven't paid attention to. As we go through our busy lives, we sometimes ignore the most meaningful things, the things that add purpose and true meaning to our lives and the lives of the people around us. We do because we're so busy. Maybe you've thought, when I have time, I'll do this or that. Well, if you don't try to fulfill your deepest yearnings now, when will you do it? That's why the title of this podcast is If Not Now, When?
And
Yeah. So why not start today? We're going to share with you some ways to get in touch with your real deep yearnings. You know, what inside of you is driving for, and maybe what you can do about it. Because don't wait. You waited long enough. It's time now. It's time.
yeah, I have to laugh because Chris and I were just talking about how good she's feeling because she's doing some extra postures and some extra deep relaxation. And look at her, she's like bouncing all over the place. Got all kinds of Shakti pouring out of her,
Yeah.
that's important. And that's what she loves. She loves to be
Yeah,
idle and on her game. So she knows what she's
I
talking
do.
about.
I do. So we want to share with you because that's what we do. We like to share the things that we've learned and the mistakes we've made too. So it'll help you. So we want to share some ways you can get in touch with what's really going on inside, what you really want. And the first type of yearning I want to talk about is something that everybody has, and that's regrets. And
Mm.
it's not really a yearning, but it's a nagging thing that we all have. You know? What do you regret not doing? Is it spending time with a loved one? Is it offering help to a friend in need? Is it being rude or angry or resentful of an acquaintance, a friend, or a loved one? Now is the time to release the regret by taking a simple action. And that is forgiveness.
Hmm. For yourself
Forgiving
or others?
for both,
Oh, okay.
for the others and for yourself. You want forgiveness. And I want to mention a couple of the things about that, but I want to do a simple forgiveness practice that is so effective. And we do it in yoga, and people do it in mysticism as well. You can also, if there's someone that you feel that you have ignored or not done or been rude to or whatever, just do something particularly kind for that person. You don't have to make a big thing of it. Just do it. Just do it. That alone is going to make you feel better. But you may feel resistance to that if you're angry at them.
Oh, yeah, that's me.
You know. So we're going to do this forgiveness practice in a minute. Another
Okay.
thing is make time to reach out to a loved one. Make time to reach out to a friend. If you think you don't have time, I'm here to say you don't have time not to do it. Because you don't want to get to the end of your life and say, gee, I was so busy, doing Zooms that I missed all this,
I feel like you're talking to me because we're just talking about some of the goals that I have, and I always got one dang goal after the other that I gotta fix. So when I get frustrated about my not reaching my goals, maybe I should just like put all my crap down and call somebody and talk to them and make that a goal.
Yeah, yeah,
That might be
right.
the answer to just get out of that, kind of stuck place.
Yeah, get out of the stuck place. And so I want to share before we move to the other types of yearnings, which are more pleasant than these. But I wanted to share the forgiveness practice. Just we're not going to do a long thing. I'm just going to share the steps with you, and you can work with it on your own. But it's very effective.
Mm.
So if there's someone that you've had a difficulty with, and obviously if you have some regret about something, there's been an issue there, and you can do something about it. So what you want to do in this practice is you just sit calmly and you visualize this person maybe sitting on a chair in front of you. And the first thing you say is, as if you're talking to this person or talking to the universe, I have an open mind about this. Then you say, and this is the tricky one, I thank you for teaching me.
Mm.
Because in every interaction we have, particularly the difficult ones, we learn something. We learn something about relating to that person or our reaction if we were rude or angry. We learn. And try to sit with that. I thank you for teaching me. Be open to learn this lesson.
Yeah. Or what the lesson is, if you don't know, like
Yeah,
I
you may not
don't
know.
know. Yeah.
Well, that's a good point because that's actually why you do that. Thank you. I thank you for teaching because I did this with someone and when I had no idea. When I sat down to do it, I thought they didn't teach me anything. And then when I did the practice, I saw. I
You
saw.
saw what it was. Yeah. Yeah.
And then after you say, I thank you for teaching me, you sit with that and you realize what it is. And then you say, may the best happen for both of us.
That feels so good.
Yeah. And then you end with, I let you go.
Mm.
So you release it, just release it and let it go. Don't keep doing it or dwelling on it. You did it, let it go. You'll be amazed. You'll feel a shift. You'll feel a shift in your heart.
Right. And what's interesting about what you just said about that exercise, just so in case the listeners didn't pick that up, is that you are in the state of needing to forgive because you missed the lesson.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
so it's like you're getting another chance to hear what it was
Getting
someone
another chance.
tell you about yourself. And so all we're saying with that forgiveness practice is it's all about you. No matter what's going on outside you. The mirror is showing you what it is you need to pay attention to inside yourself. The minute you do, like Chris said, the minute you acknowledge it, you see it, you give yourself the chance to see it, and you say, I let go. Poof, magic.
Yeah,
Magic happens. It's
yeah.
gone.
When you let it go, it goes.
Goes. You're not stuck. You're not struggling.
Right.
You learned more about yourself. Check that off. There you go. So that's how powerful forgiveness is. It's teaching you who you are.
It's so important. It's one of the most important things we can do in life, I think.
Yeah, 100% agree with that.
So our next kind of yearning is those bucket list kind of things like travel, hobbies, and they're a little easier to deal with. So you start with something simple. If you really want to travel, but you lack the funds for a trip around the world, find someplace you haven't been in your own area. It's amazing how many interesting places there are nearby that people never, ever find or think about.
Yeah.
And, where my daughter lives, we found this, just by chance, this wilderness park. It was just awesome. It's a really fun place. And it's a few blocks away from where they live and didn't even know it was there. Those kinds of things can open your traveling issue. Of course, if you have the funds and the time, go on a trip around the world.
Yeah, if that's all, like I often find, and I don't know if this is off topic or not, you can tell me, but
Mm.
um I often find when people say to me, oh, I really want to go here, I really want to go here, they're not, what they're looking for isn't out there.
Yeah, it's not
half,
out there.
half the time it's in here. So if you find yourself like really craving to go to a certain location, you just may want to see it. That's perfectly legit. But take, 15 minutes to sit down and go, is there something I need to know about what's going on here with this desire?
Yeah.
Why am I craving this? Is it the movement? Is this particular place? Is there, something my soul's trying to tell me about who I am or what's going on in my life or something I need to look at or learn or, there oftentimes there is a whole process going on behind that desire.
Yeah. Yeah, that's that is absolutely true. That's thank you for that. That's very key.
Yeah.
It's really key. You want to see what it is. What's the real yearning in there? That's
What's
what we're getting at here in this whole podcast today is what's the real yearning? And if it's a hobby, do something about it. And you'll find that if there's some calling to some hobby, there's the same thing. There's something that you want out of that. And maybe it's music. And the same thing, if you really want to do it, it doesn't take a lot of money.
Nope.
I bought my
That's
grand
true. The
Yeah,
nourishment for the soul hardly ever does. I
right.
mean, you may be an artist, you may need some paint supplies, or you may, that kind of thing. But don't you find in life when you really like are on point about what it is that you want to do creatively or whatever it is, that stuff just shows up.
It shows up, right? It does show up.
It
And,
does.
and there's places all around, like there's a place here in the town where I live called the Guitar Store. So at Christmas, I was buying my 2-year-old grandson a ukulele, which he calls a guitar. And uh, I bought it from them. This is not an inexpensive item. This was like, $30. But the interesting thing was that they're musicians and they work there, because they don't make money playing music. But they're really, the guy was talking to me about all this stuff, and I get their emails saying all this stuff that you can do for free and lessons and reasonable stuff. So, I mean, if you look for it, you'll find it.
You will
If
find it.
if,
Yeah.
if there's a real inner desire, you'll find it. Just look for it. Just be open to it. You can do it online. You can do it. I mean, I have a little soft spot for this store after talking to these guys. Just kind of how it is.
Yeah. Customer service, does that ever happen anymore?
I
Holy cow.
know. And I love their emails because they have all these great reasonable deals.
Yeah. Well, that's the
If
musician.
I were a musician, I would go for it.
You are a musician.
Well,
You
yeah,
don't acknowledge that's
yeah,
you get the guitar store emailing you because you need to be reminded you
yeah,
are.
yeah.
You need to sit down with your little, what do you call it back there? What's your thing? Oh,
Harmonium.
harmonium.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
gotta get it fixed.
You were singing and chanting. We were talking about that too. She needs to get back to doing that.
So the
Appreciate
other
the
and
music.
most important kind of yearning I wanted to talk about was I call it the spiritual quest. Maybe you've been on a particular spiritual path like Kathy and I have been on
Yeah.
and done a lot on that path. Maybe you haven't put the time in to go as far as you can, to go farther on it. I'll tell you the woodcutter story from yoga. There was this guy in India, and he was in this village, and he was very poor, and he had a family. He went to the edge of the forest, and he met a yogi, and the yogi said to him, "Go farther." So he went farther into the forest, and he found a grove of sandalwood trees. And these sandalwood trees were very valuable. So he chops them down, and now he's very prosperous. And he thinks, the yogi didn't tell me to go to the sandalwood trees. He said, go farther. So he goes back to the woods, he goes past the sandalwood trees, and he finds a silver mine. Now he's really loaded. So he goes back and he keeps thinking. And he says, well, the yogi said go farther. And he goes back to the woods. He goes past the sandalwood grove. He goes past the silver mine, and he finds a gold mine. So you get the idea. You get the idea. Go
Yeah.
farther, whatever it is. I mean, whatever path you are, we all have some kind of spiritual yearning inside of us. It doesn't, I'm not talking about necessarily an organized religion or anything like that, just that yearning to know who we truly are, that yearning for fulfillment, deep, lasting inner fulfillment. And so, however you want to go about it, it's really important to go farther, to not stop yourself, to not get so distracted with daily activities. I was just sharing with Kathy before this that I feel like as many years as I've been on the yoga path and been so focused, you know, for a while here, I was pretty distracted.
Yeah.
And I had to remind myself. And what's really important, because when you fulfill that yearning,
Yeah.
everything else is better. Everything
But
else goes really well.
for a bhakti, it's easy to get distracted by other people that you care about.
Yes, yes.
That's the one thing that will get you
Yeah,
distracted for sure.
yeah.
But it occurred to me when you were talking about go farther, people, that aren't on an initiated path or, maybe want to be and have that yearning to know themselves, they could literally use go farther as a mantra. They get to a place and they get stuck
Yeah.
and they can just tell themselves, you
Go
sit,
farther.
go farther, go
Yeah.
try it in your meditative practice where you're sitting there and trying to go deeper, go farther, go deeper.
Yeah.
That could be
That's
like
it.
your own personal little mantra.
Hmm. Yeah. So I think, and I had some other stuff that I think we've covered a lot of, you know, work to do. But one of the things, if you're not really sure what your deepest yearning is, then maybe you go into your heart center along the spine behind the heart or right in front here, and you just sit quietly for a while and you ask, what is it that I need to do or feel or know to be fulfilled? And then just be quiet and try to be receptive. See what happens. See what happens. You may not get an answer at the moment, but it might come to you when you're walking around the next day.
Yeah.
But you're going to start to know that. So
Yeah. And that's the joy of the spiritual journey right there. Getting answers from deep inside.
yeah, yeah. And we've been on the path many years, the two of us, and yet we still get distracted, and so
And get back on the path
and
and
get back on.
experiencing every new joy, because it never lets you down. When you want to pay attention to it, you just have to get back on the horse.
Get back on the horse. Yeah, you fall off, you get back on. So we hope this will be helpful to you. And remember, if not now, when? Now's the time.
Yep.
Now's the time.
Go get her done.
Yeah. So please, tell your friends about us and come to our channel and come back again. Let us
Yeah.
know what you're thinking.
She means go to YouTube, like and
Right.
share and subscribe.
Yeah.
Trying to get her to say that at the end. We need this to get out to other people. So go comment on our YouTube channel.
Yeah. Comment on our YouTube channel and put questions in there. We'll answer. We will
Heck yeah.
answer if you put
That'd be
questions in.
fun. That'd be fun to talk with you there.
Yeah, we would like to get to know you better.
Yeah. See you next week.
See you. Bye.
Ciao.